Hi, welcome to a new video. In this video we're going to cover how to create a Windows 11 virtual machine in just a few steps on GNOME Boxes. Now if you don't already have GNOME Boxes installed, please go check out one of my other videos on where I describe how to do that on Ubuntu. So this process takes a few steps because by default a standard Windows 11 install will fail with a message saying your PC isn't supported, something like this. Because the system requirements our VM won't have, such as TPM module or maybe an unsupported CPU for instance. So there's a few things we can do during the Windows installation to overcome these issues. We'll also create a local user account that we can use to log in so we don't have to create a Microsoft account. Now this guide is geared towards GNOME Boxes, but the general process should work with VirtualBox or VMware Workstation Player also. So the first thing we need to do is download Windows 11. Now we can do this directly from Microsoft. So we want to go to this page here to download Windows 11, and specifically we want the ISO version of Windows 11. So we'll scroll down and we find this option, download Windows 11 ISO. So we need to select Windows 11 here and click download now. It won't actually download it, but it'll take us to the next option where we choose our language. So I'm going to choose this one here, English International, click confirm, and when that completes finally we will get this button here, 64-bit download. So we'll click that and we will be able to save the ISO in the download folder. So we'll click save and allow the download to complete. So with our download complete we should be able to go to our downloads folder, and in there we should have a Windows 11 installation ISO. So at this point we're ready to create our VM. So we can start GNOME Boxes. I'm currently using Linux Mint, so we're going to go to here and type in Boxes and click on that. Now when GNOME Boxes started, we can click the plus icon here to create a new VM. And this time we're going to choose Create Virtual Machine from File option, and we click that and we can select our ISO in our Downloads folder, and it's this Windows 11 file here, and we'll choose Open. GNOME Boxes will add some default settings here. Now if you don't like any of them, for instance if you don't want to give it 128 gig, you can just overwrite that and say give it 80 gig disk. So when you're happy with it, click Create and installation will start. So in a few moments the Windows 11 setup utility will appear. So at this point we need to select our language, and they all look fine for my use, so I'm going to click Next, and now we need to add some extra settings. So at this point we need to press Shift and F10. So this will get us the Windows command prompt. So then we need to run the command regedit, that's regedit, and that will open this window here. So then what we need to do is we need to browse to HKey local machine, and then we need to click on System, and then we need to click on Setup, and in Setup we need to create a new key. So we're going to right click on Setup and choose New Key, and then we're going to name this key Lab Config. Inside Lab Config we want to add a couple of values. So right click in there and choose New and choose DWord 32-bit value, and we're going to enter the name bypass CPU check, just like that. Double click and select the value to 1 and press OK. And then we're going to repeat the same process, new key and D word, and we're going to bypass RAM check, and again set the value to 1, click OK, new key, D word, and bypass TPM check, and value to 1, and same again, and going to create bypass storage check and set the value to 1, and finally we're going to create new and keyword bypass secure boot check, and again set the value to 1. So at this point we should have these 5 D words, and all the values should be set to 1, which is fairly self-explanatory what each one will do. And with those in place, we can close the registry editor and close the terminal and click Install Now. Now the Windows 11 setup will continue, and at this point I don't want to enter an activation key, so I'm going to select I don't have a product key, and this will allow us to continue our installation. Now the version of Windows I want to install is Windows 11 Home, so I'm going to click Next, and I need to agree to the software license terms and click Next. Now I need to choose Custom Install here because we're not upgrading or otherwise, so I'll click that one, and our virtual machine drive should be already selected, but just click it on the safe side and choose Next. Now the Windows Setup tool will go about creating our Windows 11 installation, and it'll take a little while, so I'm going to skip forward till that's complete. So you might find during the installation that the virtual machine window minimises. So what you have to do there is click on it again and bring the virtual machine console back to the foreground. So with the first part of the Windows setup complete, we need to complete the next part. So the first thing we're going to do is to select our country and check we've got the correct keyboard. Click yes. I don't want to add a second keyboard, so skip. So we need to enter a name for our device, so just give it a random name and next. Now the Windows installer will reboot and go back to Windows Setup so we can carry on. Now at this point we usually would have to enter our Microsoft account to be able to log in, but we don't want to use the Microsoft account, we just want to create a local account, so we'll just put in any name there and any password, doesn't matter what you type in there, and we'll get this message popping up, and that's what we expect. So if we choose next, and we should now be able to create our local account with a username that we do like. So I'm going to call myself admin and enter a password and confirm. And then put random answers in these questions and continue the setup, choosing no to all of these options. Now at this point our Windows 11 installation is nearly complete, and in a few moments we should be sat at the Windows 11 desktop. And the final stages of setup complete. Here we are with our new Windows 11 desktop. So we can have a play around and experiment as much as we want. One other thing that you might want to do with this is if you shut your virtual machine down, and you can create a second Windows VM by simply cloning this VM. So when our machine shut down, we can right click on here and choose clone, and this will create us a second Windows virtual machine. Thanks for watching. I hope it was helpful. Please consider subscribing, it would be really appreciated, or perhaps leave a comment below if there's something you would like me to cover in future videos. Thanks again, and see you soon.